think it's a trout. Yep, it is a trout. It's a decent trout too. Oh, 17.5-inch trout. Finally, that's a male too. Ha! Finally we got started with a trout. So he's gonna go back because he's literally a he. We're not keeping fish today. So this is a very windy morning in Lake Pontchartrain. We've been on the trestle, but it's so rough over there. We got this probably 12 knot, at least 12 knot northeast wind, and it is just rough. Nothing but hardheads on the trestle. This side of Lake Pontchartrain, of Highway 11 is actually fishable, so that's a great start. We're just hoping we can repeat that a few more times. So today I've got this 13 Fishing Concept C strung with 12-pound fluorocarbon, and I'm giving this a shot. I once in a while I get around to thinking about trying fluoro. It's just so different than braid fishing. When you've been fishing braid for a decade, it's really hard to come back to this rubber band line. But I want to give it a good try. This is a jerk shad by Zeman that came on, a gold color, which is a weird color for here, but it worked on that trout. There's another one.
Back underneath the bridge, or?
It was off the bridge, but we'll see if it's a trout or not. It might be a hardhead. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, it's a flounder. Oh, it's kind of a big flounder. Nice. Whew. That is a beauty. It's a 15-inch flounder. Kind of a fun fish. Some of the there we go. I thought I had it. That's a trout. That is definitely a trout. Decent one. That's a 16. Nice fat fish. I switched over to braid. I just could not cast far enough with that fluorocarbon. It just casts so poorly, or I don't have the right reel or whatever, but just is not happening. And I'm trying to, I think we really need to get on Highway 11, we need to get the bait up underneath the bridge and have more precise casting. Just couldn't do it. But of course the reason I was trying fluoro is because it sinks. And that's an advantage, especially on a rough day. Here's another one. It's a little bit bigger one. It's another 16. The next cast after the last one. This bait is a Zeman. It's one of the CA special colors. Looks like bologna. It's got kind of red and got some pink and brown. They're responding to it nicely. This is a male too. He is drumming like crazy. That is a fat male. Yeah, there's one. Oh, that was a good one.
Holy smokes.
This might be a redfish.
Pulling like the red.
Solid fish. It's trying to take me into the pilings though. Got it out. The pilings at least. Or it's a 27-inch trout.
I hope it is.
Oh, it's a big gaff top. What the heck? You turkey.
Want to net it?
No. Well, you saw what this is all about, fishing and the ones that get away. That was a legit 24-inch trout, so that'd have been 4 or 5 pound trout. Caught on this Carolina rig, just a sinker, leader, and a floating Azores. This is a Ned rig type of lure. It's floating. That was a legit trout. Those don't come along very often. At least we were able to find something there. We didn't have the net out because we haven't seen a bite in hours. It's probably 3 hours since we caught a trout. I might look pretty calm there, but I'm not. It took me about a day to get over the loss of that fish. And on top of that, the video clip of the fish, which was on the surface, was also lost, either due to the camera not being on, which I always check that, so I think it wasn't writing to the card. That was a huge disappointment. I was so much looking forward to getting home and looking at that fish, seeing how big I thought it was, and no video clip. The whole experience just did not turn out well at all. It was a sort of comedy of bad circumstances. You know, we hadn't had a trout bite for like 3.5 hours, so and this was the first trout bite, and so the net wasn't ready, and David had just pulled in a hardhead and he was dealing with it, trying to get off his hook, when I got that hit, and I didn't know what it was. I got it about halfway in and I realized that, oh, this could be a big trout. And then I asked him to get the net, but by that time, the trout was at the surface. I had the trout at the surface, and I started doing figure eights with it, trying to keep it the line tight, engaged with the hook set. And by the time David got the net around, and I tried to get the fish back up to the surface again, it decided it didn't like the boat, and it took a big dive to the bottom, and the hook just popped out. Oh, you want to net it?
That's all right. It is a nice trout.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big one here. Let's net it.
Like, he's dragging it. He's pulling a drag.
Oh, it's a big one. That's a football. Wow, that's a nice fish. That's probably a 20. He's got girth on it, but that's not a. We'll see if it's not a. Let's see what have we got here. That's a big trout. 19 and a half. Yeah, that's a fat one though, man. There we go. Oh, this is a good one too. Yeah, this is. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so having that in halfway, and I'll bring it up to you. There we go. Perfect. So there's a 16. Not the 24, but still nice to be catching some trout again. There we go. Hit it hard. Now it's a small one. There's another 16 coming in. That one off the jig. David's been really getting hammered with a 1/2 ounce jig, so I went back to that. That's another male. They're really a lot of males today. A little bit bigger males too. How big is it? Wrapping it up. It's 4 o'clock. Been an okay day. That we had a really nice maybe 30 minutes of feeding there, which was the end of what would have been the major for today, major feeding period. So there was one earlier in the morning and one in the late afternoon, and between then very little trout coming in, very little, just a few catfish. So anyway, it's great to see that big fish that got away. Catch me on my next one.